Yo, welcome to Reezy Does It. I am Reezy. We got Lily in the building today. What up, Lee?
What up, Reezy?
Well, today we're going to discuss best female pop stars of the 80s, discussing JanetJackson, Whitney Houston, and Madonna. We'll start with Janet. So, Lee, what makes Janet one of the biggest female pop stars of the 80s, in your opinion?
Oh man, Janet was a wonderful dancer. I love her dancing. She's also a good singer, but the dancing just adds to it. She's an overall great performer. She's also an actress.
Yeah.
So, I think she could just do it all.
I'm going to give you some of my favorite songs by Janet. Funny How Time Flies, Let's Wait a While, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, I Get So Lonely Anytime, Any Place. What Have You Done For Me Lately? That was a good song. That was a hit. Escapade, That's the Way Love Goes. And yeah, like you said about her acting, she was in Different Strokes as Charlene Willis's girlfriend. She was in Poetic Justice as Tupac's love interest. And also, Why Did I Get Married Too? The Tyler Perry movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Janet definitely has left her mark already. Definitely a living legend. Anything you want to add about Janet Lee?
Oh man, don't forget about her being Penny now.
Oh
Good
yeah,
time.
how could I forget? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that was awesome. So for a little kid, I always looked up to Janet.
Yeah.
And I always liked her individuality from her family. All of her brothers and sisters were famous.
Right.
So she stood out as well. To be able to stand out as such a talented family as hers is awesome.
Yeah.
Rhythm Nation, you didn't mention Rhythm Nation. That's the Way Love Goes. I gotta agree with you. You did like that one, right?
Yeah. That was a good song by Janet.
And then Pleasure Principle, great
Pleasure
video.
Principle. That was a hell of a video with that chair. Yeah. That was
Yeah,
dope. Yeah.
she was awesome in that.
Right.
And I really enjoyed her Super Bowl performance. It was controversial, but
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, but they really kind of gave her a hard time after that.
They did. And Justin was wrong, I think. I think Justin knew what the hell was going on the whole time.
I think so too, but she did bounce back from that. Like you said, you mentioned the Tyler Perry movies, and she's like one of the best touring artists ever.
Oh yeah. Janet is super dope. To be real, Janet is my favorite out of these three. I like them all, but Janet is my favorite though.
I always idolize Janet. Love her.
Right.
She's like I said, she's just iconic. She really broke down doors and was able to just be global, and that's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's great. And you mentioning Janet as Penny on Good Times. I can't believe I forgot that, but that was hard to watch as a kid, watching Janet getting hit with that iron from a mama.
Oh yeah, that was definitely hard to watch.
Right.
But I think people identified with that part of her as well. So, and then it's with the Poetic Justice thing too. So Janet always kind of, was able to stretch her range of acting, which was good. Good thing.
Absolutely. And next we're gonna get into Whitney Houston.
Oh wow, the voice.
Yeah. What makes Whitney stand out as one of the best female pop stars of the 80s, Lee?
Her voice. She was like angelic.
Absolutely, yeah. Some people just got that voice, and Whitney is one of them. Like you said, angelic. So out of angelic voices that I've heard, I would say Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and Luther Vandross. But
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And Stevie Wonder as well. But yeah, that's a dope group to be in. But go ahead, Lee. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, she was like, at times it was just soulful, but then there's other times that she could just break down to she just had so many ranges. I
Mhm.
don't It's not many people that can sing those high notes like Whitney. I mean,
Nah, not many at all. Whitney gave us some great music. You Give Good Love, Just a Lonely Talking Again, Greatest Love of All, How Will I Know, I Want to Run to You, I Have Nothing, I Will Always Love You, I Am Every Woman, I'm Your Baby Tonight, and we got something in common with Bobby Brown.
oh yeah, to add the love affair, wasn't that something?
Wasn't that something?
We got something in common. And you know, the funny thing about that is that no one saw that, because at the time they thought Whitney was a good girl.
No one saw. I mean, yeah. I mean,
But
who's to say she wasn't a good girl?
I mean Bobby was a bad boy to her. So
Sometimes good girls like bad boys. You know how it go.
yep. And Whitney also has a famous cousin, a couple of them, the
Dion Ward.
Wards. Yeah.
So Dion and who the other?
Dee Dee Ward is her cousin, which also sung. I think they sung like in a group,
Mm-hmm.
but of course Dion broke off by herself. So yeah, so Whitney's got famous roots there, and I think her mother sung too, right? Miss
Yeah.
Houston. Yeah,
Was her mom named Sissy Houston?
Sissy. Yep,
Yeah, she was a singer, a well known singer.
gospel singer.
Yeah.
Gospel. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, she has some famous roots there. But yeah, Whitney had a wonderful voice. You mentioned "You Give Good Love." I like "Saving All My Love for You." That was a good
Ah,
one.
yeah.
"Where Do
So,
Broken Hearts Go?"
let me tell you
Uh,
something.
mm-hmm.
Saving all my love for you. I didn't know what the song was about when I was a kid, but now that I'm an adult, I know what it is. She said, "You used to tell me we were on the way together." What she say? You said, "Be patient, just wait a little longer." That's just an old fantasy. Whitney was a mistress in that jump. You feel me?
She was, yep,
You feel me?
yep.
Yeah.
And in the video, like you said, we were so young, we just kind of probably overlooked that. But
Right.
yeah, she was a mistress. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Uh,
now don't forget about the bodyguard. Now,
right. And waiting to exhale.
yeah, wait, and she got some acting chops as well. And the bodyguard was such a that was controversial then, because it had the black and white thing going on with Kevin Costner. So, but
Yeah.
it
True.
was a very good film. And I will always love you. You mentioned that as well, being one of the songs you like.
Yeah, she did a great job with that, taking a Dolly Parton hit and making it into an even bigger hit than Dolly did. You know, us being from Tennessee, from the Nashville area, um, Country Music USA, we're very familiar with Dolly. And Dolly is a megastar, and Whitney Houston took that song and took it to heights that Dolly couldn't. Speaking of remake songs that Whitney did, how about "I Am Every Woman" from Shaka Khan?
Oh wow! And you talking about a great one.
Right. So like Shaka Khan is super dope. It's hard to top a Shaka Khan song. I'm not gonna say Whitney topped it, but I'm not gonna say she didn't either.
She brought her own flavor to the song. And so, yeah, so Whitney is able to do what many artists are not able to do. I mean, like you just said, Dolly's iconic, and so is
Huge.
Shaka. And she was able to take those two women's songs and make them mega hits.
She did. She did. Yeah. I would probably have to say, out of all these ladies, all of them are iconic. I would say Whitney has the best voice.
Oh,
Janet
for sure.
Janet is probably the one that I like the most songs from, but I would say Whitney has the best voice.
Oh, without a doubt. and a very tragic death for Miss Houston. But you know, it'll never be another voice like that again. I also did like the fact that she was able to. I mean, think about some of the other things that she had out. The Way to Excel, you mentioned that.
Hmm.
That was like a. I mean, in the '90s, black women, we loved that. I mean, that was great.
Yeah,
Wonderful movie.
yeah, that was a black women empowering type of movie, wasn't it? To be real, I never saw Waiting to Exhale all the way through. I seen some parts of it, and I know it was a dude named Troy in there. And somebody was throwing something at him. Um,
Yeah, yep. It was a dude named Troy in there, and that was a fun. That's still a very funny line. You need to check that out. But anyway, yep.
yeah, I never saw The Bodyguard either, by the way.
You never saw the Bodyguard. Yeah, you might need to check that one out too, Troy.
Yeah, I just might. Anything you want to add to Whitney before we move on?
The only thing I will say about Miss Whitney is that I wish we had more time.
Oh
I would
yeah,
have liked to have seen her as an older lady and see what we might have gotten. She may have gotten back to her gospel roots. Who knows? You know.
you never know. It's definitely a possibility.
But yep, definitely a great voice and a great career. And unfortunately, her and Bobby Brown's daughter met the same fate.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, so. Before Whitney passed, they were getting ready for, I think it was the Grammys, and Clive Davis was having a party that night, and they showed footage of Whitney handing a note to Brandy. I would love to know what that note said.
I would too. Wow. And there is like speculation about that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, we're gonna move on to Madonna. Madonna was a huge pop star in the '80s, super
Oh
huge.
man. Oh my goodness. Miss Madonna, she was definitely a trendsetter.
She
She
was.
had a lot of controversy behind her career.
She did with songs like "A Virgin." Of course, she did. Some of my favorite joints by Madonna would be "Material Girl," "Like a Virgin," "Borderline," "Holiday," "Like a Prayer," "Papa Don't Preach." Actually, "Like a Prayer" and "Papa Don't Preach" are not my favorites by Madonna, but I know they were huge songs. But when I was a kid, I can't lie, I thought that beat in "Material Girl" was dope. I thought that shit was super dope. That beat in "Material Girl." But what makes Madonna one of your biggest pop stars of the '80s, Lee? Female.
Man, I like Madonna's style. I mean, she was like, she had that rock edge. And what a lot of people don't realize about Madonna, she could play instruments like the drums, the guitar, and she definitely brought that rocker to it. You know what I mean? Like the Like a Virgin, like you mentioned. She had the Like a Prayer video was very controversial, as Like a Virgin was as well. But the Vogue video,
That
people were doing the Vogue. I mean, she was a trendsetter.
I remember that Vogue was huge back in the day. Hey, but that "Like a Prayer," what was it about that made that so controversial at the time, Lee?
Well, she was in the church and she was
Uh-huh.
praying, and then she had all this sexy lingerie, and some people thought it was hypocritical for her to do so. Also, I think it might have been some statues, some symbolism there that they felt was not good for the church. So a lot of people criticized that and the video itself.
Yeah, yeah. Madonna was a huge pop star. When Madonna first popped on the scene, they say Madonna was opening up for New Edition, opening up for LL, and Madonna had huge success. More success than all of them musically.
She definitely did. Like I said, She had a little bit of something for everybody.
She did. She did. Madonna was definitely dope. You know, Madonna used to date Dennis Rodman. There's rumors that Madonna used to date Tupac for a short time, and
I
Haitian.
heard that. I heard that. And she likes younger men now. This woman's almost 65 years old.
Mhm.
She but she has so much style and everything to her. Now she was married to Sean Penn, which is an
Right,
actor,
right.
and she was married to Guy Ritchie for years as well.
Okay.
It says that she also she's got a few children as well. So I mean, she's had some work done because if you've seen her, like I said, she's almost 65 years old, but she definitely still looks good for her age, I think.
I think she does too. I think she does too. All of these women are definitely super, extremely dope. Rest in peace to the late great Whitney Houston. Anything you want to add on Madonna Lee before we move on?
Well, just like you said, how much she probably is sold and records that she sold.
Oh yeah, she did
I
record
would
numbers.
definitely say, um, for her to be on this list and us talking about her, we have to recognize that she's been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh
So
yeah,
not just a pop icon. Like I said, she got that rocky edge to her, and they
absolutely
and they gave her props for it. So
right. And all of these women have won numerous Grammys, and they're like I said, they're icons. Janet Jackson, Madonna, living legends. Whitney Houston, a late great legend. Anything you want to add, Lee?
well, Janet is my favorite as well. I love Janet, but I can't discount the other two women for sure
No,
about what they brought to the table.
all three of these women were great in their own right. And as honorable mentions, I want to mention Gloria Estefan
Oh yeah.
from Miami Sound Machine. That bad boys. That was one of my favorite songs as a kid. Um, Rhythm is gonna get you. I don't know if it was by Gloria Estefan or Miami Sound Machine, the group that she was in, but
Yeah, don't quote
uh,
me on that, but I definitely um respect that. I think she was influential to the culture.
she was definitely influential to the pop culture. And I also want to mention Cyndi Lauper. She had huge hits in the 80s, such as Time After Time, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Boy, is that true. But anything you want to add before we get out of here, Lee?
No, I agree with you. The girls just want to have fun. For me, being a child in the '80s, that was my song. I can remember bebopping around the house to that. So I don't think there's anything else I want to add.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun was one of the biggest hits of the entire 80s. So I
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted to throw that in there.
that was definitely a super record.
Yeah, that was a huge, super huge hit. But Lee, thank you for joining me today. And Lee, guess what?
What?
Girl, you should have known by now. Reezy does it.